it in the encoder. It'll be like, would it be delayed?
We're on. Hey everyone, it is a First Alert weather day. Do we need to be doing something now? Oh, I need to be put. Sorry, y'all. Technical difficulties.
You know, we're working it.
Yeah.
You know, we got everybody here this I keep saying morning.
It's because we've been here since this morning, this afternoon now.
Yeah, but happy to be here with you in the digital desk. Myself and Maggye McCallie, we are still tracking Francine. Of course, we told you over on the television side we'd come over here and have a conversation with you here and kind of get you through the rest of the day. It's been kind of a messy go of things, Maggye, over the last couple of hours. I was just looking at some of the traffic cameras across the network, and the roads are not great at all. And right now, we've still got school districts that are in process of getting out. The roads are not great. That means they've got other people on the roads as well. So, I mean, you know, take it easy out there. The winds have been picking up. The rains have been picking up, and especially with this band currently moving overhead. Yeah,
and I'll show you. This is our Midtown camera. You can just see it, the rain just coming down, the wind as well. As we said, roadways aren't great, and that's why a lot of schools, out of an abundance of caution, just went ahead and canceled this morning or let out even earlier than they would have, just to avoid this mess that's going to be coming into play with ponding on roadways, all that. Additionally, with the winds that are now starting to pick up, Patrick.
Yeah, and the winds have been gradually on the increase over the last couple of hours. We've seen some wind gusts 40 plus miles per hour from time to time. Yeah. So it's nothing too crazy. And again, you know, when you have a landfalling tropical system like this, it has to go through an unraveling process, and that is what's happening right now. When you think about this, think about whenever you are like a ballerina or a skater is doing when they're all tied up and they're spinning really fast. Well, that's what's happening at the center of a hurricane. Well, eventually they have to come out of that and they have to disperse the energy, and so they slow down and it kind of spread out as well, because usually because they're so wound up, they'll kind of like spread their arms and legs. Analogy. My former chief back in Mississippi told me this, but it's a good idea to think about. And I also liken to it like the middle part of a cinnamon roll too. It's real tight. You start to unravel it too. But anyways,
that is what's ongoing.
Yeah, and that's what's happening right now. Let's take a look at going on with the clouds and radar. Of course, you see the underbelly of the storm system still kind of working its way across portions of central and south Mississippi, and there's been some drier air that's been pushing in over the last couple of hours, and that's one thing that we've kind of been noting here the last couple of hours, is that this storm system has been kind of been trained in with some drier air and has been slow to progress northward. It's kind of slowed down over the last couple of hours, but that drier air is kind of poking into some of the holes, and you see that kind of emerging in like northern Panola County into Quitman County back up towards Tate County right now.
Yeah, it's noticeable on current satellite radar that you're looking at. It's also noticeable just south of the storm in Jackson with that quick clearing of rain as well as that's punching in. But as you said, as that does make its way in, that makes our winds also have an uptick as well, which has been the main concern as we're headed into the afternoon. Is going to be just the progression of winds that's going to be ongoing with this system coming in. So obviously we're still looking at rain and heavy bands moving through the area, like we showed you that view out of Midtown with our best camera, with rain continuing to push in. But again, the thing we're going to be tracking out additionally this afternoon is just going to be the winds that come into play as well with this system coming in. So not a great afternoon at play. If you have anything going on, it is going to be pretty gusty out there. But yeah, no, that's a good view too of that, Patrick.
Yeah, the water vapor imagery kind of shows you an idea of where the driest air is filtering in, and that's kind of coming into the underbelly of the storm system. So that's why when you go back, and actually let me try to go back here because I'm looking at this. I'm trying to do this on the fly here. I don't think I'll be able to do it from here. I gotta think about like the hot buttons that we have on the keyboard to go back. But as far as this is concerned, that drier air that's moving in, it's a evaporating process. So the rain and the moisture that is evaporating from that storm system, what's happening is that it's then cooling and then descending. So there's gustier winds that will come over the course of the next couple of hours. Anytime that you're going to have an evaporation process, again, that's a cooling process. Cooler air sinks because it's denser.
And then pushes out.
And it can't go through the ground, so it has to go out somewhere. So it just kind of blows out, and of course we've got the heavy downpours, then mixing in with that some gusty winds. So far here at Action News 5, we had a wind gust as high as 35, and we picked up about 1.5 inches of rain. But I got a report that down in Coahoma County, southeastern Coahoma County, almost 2.25.
Yeah, if you got under some of those heavier bands, you could have picked up this morning 1 to 2, even 2+ inches, and we're not done with it yet. Again, rain's still falling out there, so we're still looking at it on First Alert Doppler radar. Heaviest bands, again, these heaviest bands, really we've seen rainfall rates anywhere between 2 to 3 inches per hour as they make their way through, so dumping a good portion of rain where they're making their way in. Right now, the heaviest bands, again, setting up yet again in those same areas that we saw yesterday, especially within southern portions of Shelby County that kind of already got that heavy rain, and we're seeing another one come into play as well, Patrick. So just more rain on top of the areas that have already seen that good 2+ inches today. Now seeing an additional, anywhere between 2 to 3 inches an hour.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that some of these are coming down 2-3 inches per hour, and now we're looking at 24-hour rainfall from the radar's perspective. And again, this is an estimate. This isn't like ground truth necessarily, but just inside Shelby County, DeSoto County, and Crittenden County, some spots 2 to 3 inches of rainfall in the last 24 hours. Now I'm going to switch this over and go to the 12-hour. And we'll see if there's any difference, which I don't think there would be much of a difference. And you got to let it load in.
That's really been since early this morning.
Yeah, we started getting the rain here in the city of Memphis about 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
It's been coming down in these periods. It hasn't been constantly like a heavy downpour, but it's these bands that are rotating in, and that's been the going rate over the last couple of hours. Take a couple of zooms and pans across the area. That's a look at Shelby County right now, and we'll go back over to the traditional radar view, how hard the rain is falling mode. And actually, let me go back down there to Shelby County. And
but that heavy band setting up in passing through the same places.
Yeah, and so some spots have already picked up 2+ inches of rainfall. We still got more on the way. Now, once we start to get this drying process happening with that drier air from the south side of the storm, things will calm down. And I think tomorrow the rain is going to be a lot lighter than it is today, but still obviously an impactful situation. Of course, for the folks who are out and about from West Memphis coming inbound to Memphis, we were looking at the iDrive Arkansas cameras. They got accident.
40, yes,
got accidents lined up along I-40. There's one in St. Francis County. There's one out in your neck of the woods.
And over in Prairie County. And that's just your first alert to be aware. If you're driving on 40 from Memphis to Little Rock, there's multiple ongoing wrecks. You want to make sure to have your Apple Maps, whatever you have up, to be able to avoid those, because it's causing backups, not only like at those exits where they're rerouting people, but miles down the road. One of those was, I think, between the Hazen and the DeVal's Bluff exits. So that's one of them that's ongoing, again, outside of our area, but that just shows you the impacts that are not only here in the Mid-South, but in eastern and central Arkansas as well, with this rain ongoing. And it doesn't take a lot to get a good backup on the interstate because of these heavy rains and winds as well.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Zooming in a little bit closer to the city of Memphis, inside the 240 and 40 loop, I see coming down and south of Memphis through Westwood, back up towards downtown, through the Forums area, back over into Midtown. Very heavy rainfall. Out, 240. It ain't never fun driving on 240. Let me tell you. Look,
without the rain.
Without the rain, okay. I got blown past yesterday at 90 miles an hour, and I thought I was doing something yesterday afternoon. And but slow it down on these roads, because they are not going to be great. They're not great in the first place. They're not going to be any better here this afternoon. This particular band may be the last super heavy band that we get in the short term. So that may be a saving grace, that if you are still at work and you got to get home at 3, 4, 5 o'clock this afternoon, it may not be as super heavy. Speaking of that, let's take a look at that Midtown camera.
Yeah, still come down. But I think one thing to remember if you're headed home later today or even tomorrow, just avoid those roadways you know are easily flooded. We all know those local roads where rain and ponding can happen a little bit more frequently than others. You just don't want to be taking those today, tomorrow, even into the weekend, because we're looking at these impacts sticking around, Patrick. And not only that, the clouds really kind of sticking around, hovering in the area as well. So anything that's there is going to be sticking around for a few days.
Yeah, I'll go over to Northwest Community College. This is going to be in Senatobia. And during the midday show, so at the end of the midday show at noon, we're looking at this camera like, man, it's coming down.
Yeah,
and a completely different scenario that's playing out right now in that part of the world because of kind of the idea that these storms are coming and going. And as the drier air is kind of filtering in, you still see the camera kind of bouncing up and down a little bit, but it's not as heavy of rain, the sheets of rain that we saw earlier here. So let's take a look at some of the cameras across the area as well. Take a look at the top left corner. That is Olive Branch. Downtown Memphis is, again, in that heavier band of rain moving through right now. And then you've got what's going on over in 240 at 385 on the lower left, and lower right, that is going to be 55 at 240 out near Mill Branch and Brooks. And I tell you what, that is not great, not fun, and it's going to be a slow go of things. And, of course, we're looking at some of the comments that you guys coming in. So one of the questions that we had here, will the winds be this high in the morning? And no, not the case.
I think people are already thinking of tomorrow's commute, and
Yeah.
probably tomorrow's look at schools as well, because schools have been dismissing early. I don't expect that to be tomorrow's case.
Again, I don't get in the heads of superintendents,
Me either.
principals. I do not do that, because the last time that happened, that burned me. I just told everybody, just be prepared, because once one falls, they all start falling. That's kind of what we saw.
We don't make that call.
That is between them and God. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't make that call, and that's a hard decision to make
It is.
from the standpoint of a school district to make those calls. I think for the commute tomorrow, what we'll be watching for is going to be still some rain. Not the winds, though. The winds won't be as breezy tomorrow as the low continues to kind of unravel itself. Now, the one thing that we are going to be watching for tomorrow, and I'm going to try to pull it up as quickly as possible, is going to be the Futurecast. So let's go and look at that, because one thing that me and Maggye have been looking at, and it's a little concerning, is the fact that even while the bulk of the rain and storms will start to fizzle out here as
Really
we go
into the evening.
into this evening, as that drier air gets pulled into the storm. Look what happens as we go into tomorrow. Now, you see that swirling low back over in Arkansas. There's some cells over here in places like Corinth and Iuka and Biggersville and Tremont, over in northeast Mississippi, and Savannah, Tennessee, those places out towards Pickwick. Those areas, that little line right there, that is something that is going to be very interesting to watch. And look at the time, that's 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. The vast majority of the area, still south breeze around, 10 to 15.
Maybe some light rain.
Yeah, some light rain. But those cells are the last connection that Francine will have to the Gulf of Mexico. And typically that is, the tail end of that cinnamon roll, okay? It really is. I could say it in a different way, but I'd rather not, because the last time I said it, it didn't come out right and somebody got mad. Anyways, but you get the idea that is going to be the lifeblood of that storm, still holding on to the Gulf of Mexico. And with the winds coming out of the southerly route at that point, that's where we could very well see those brief spin-up tornadoes. I think there are 2 points in time that we're going to have to watch out for. It's going to be tomorrow morning at that time, between about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning through about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, in the very least, where we could have a brief spin-up tornado. And then again, later on this evening, there's a period of time right around prime time, we'd say, maybe about 6, 7, 8 o'clock this evening, where in those areas in northeast Mississippi and eastern West Tennessee, that we could have a little brief spin up or two. It's not out of the realm of possibility. And this is a common theme about a landfalling tropical system, is that as you get the unraveling process happening, there's a lot of spin in the atmosphere, and sometimes these little showers, they don't look like anything crazy on the radar. They're not going to look like
Your
tornado.
typical.
This is not going to look like March 31st, 2023. Okay,
No.
this is not going to look like those storms that we had here. This is not going to look like your traditional severe weather. It's going to look like a little shower on the radar, but inside that shower, there's a lot of spin going on there.
Yeah, and it's trying to spin. And I think one thing of note is we're looking at this low pressure system, the remnants of Francine making its way into the mid-south, really kind of setting up shop along the Mississippi River. So areas east is really where we're going to be watching this. So maybe not necessarily eastern Arkansas, but western Tennessee, just like Patrick was saying, North Mississippi, talking really McNairy, Alcorn County, even areas outside mainly of the mid-south coverage area. But we're watching that eastern edge of our area for that potential of those spin-ups happening. And again, those look likely, or possible anyway, more likely than this morning into the afternoon and evening hours. And then yet again, that's kind of new data that came in this morning, seeing that for Friday. So,
but even with that being said, I'm going to go back to this map that we've been showing probably about for 2 days now, 2 or 3 days, and it's the impact zones. Let me try to get that pulled up. There we go.
There you go.
And, when it comes down to it, we've been honing in on pockets of heavy rainfall that are going to stretch across the area. That has not changed. It's really the same places that we've been watching all day long, where we could see some pockets. And again, everybody's obviously going to see rain. We think a widespread 2 to 4 across the entire Action News 5 coverage area, but there may be some pockets in this area, West Tennessee, northeastern Mississippi, where they could be 4, 5, 6 inches of rainfall. Obviously, we've seen the wind gusts at 40 miles an hour already
yeah, this
here.
has already been prevalent in the last hour.
Just within the last hour, we've seen that starting to pick up across the area, and that has come to fruition. Now, what has not happened is this, and we've shown this for the last couple of days, where there is that risk for a spin-up tornado, and it will be primarily for our easternmost communities. That's not to say that Memphis and Shelby County can't see it, but the higher potential, I would say, would be out towards the Tennessee River Valley.
Yeah.
And it's just because of where the low is tracking, where the low is currently located at, and where the low will be kind of swirling about. Anything east of there has a higher potential. Doesn't mean it's going to, but it's a potential.
The likelihood is higher, though, than the rest of the area. And again, we've been showing this has been a really good impact zone that we've highlighted the last few days, and that again stays true today. I think the only additional thing that we have that is really new is that we're also looking at that potential early tomorrow morning as well.
Yeah, so adding in, okay, so some folks are asking, it's like, so when's all this going to move out?
Yeah.
And I wish I could tell you that this is going to be gone in 2.5 seconds. And when we had Beryl come through the area a couple of weeks ago, or a couple months ago, it was like 12 hours.
Yeah.
12 to 18 hours. In and out.
Yeah.
This one, unfortunately, Maggie, seems that it does not want to move. And the reasoning behind that is because you've got a front to the west, a high to the north, and an area of low pressure that's trying to develop to the south of it. Now, Francine, these storms want to find the course of least resistance. Wherever they find a pathway to go, they're going to go.
Move out. Yeah.
There's no pathway for Francine right now.
No. I think what Patrick's saying too is there's just weather elements that have set up that we're tracking that are not allowing Francine to move anywhere. They're just blocking it, keeping it kind of stalled here in the Mid-South. So the impacts are going to lessen over the next few days, but the remnants are still going to be here in some sort of fashion through the weekend. So that's why we're kind of watching it, because we have things going on this weekend as well, multiple events going on that we could be dealing with this rain. Or at least some type of spotty downpours through Sunday. Yeah,
so we're going to run this through. And again, it's going to be these cells that are going to be out to the east that we have to kind of watch out. And you see how the hour-by-hour forecast kind of blows them up. But they're right on the edge of the Action News 5 coverage area. And I know we got some folks. I know we are on social media right now. Yeah. So our reach is much further than our television coverage area right now. So for folks who are watching us in Middle Tennessee, maybe Northwest Alabama, far northeastern Mississippi, my friends in Iuka, okay? My friends in Savannah, okay? Paris, Tennessee, okay? We love Paris, Tennessee. Just so you know, we love Henry County. But in those areas, again, out towards Middle Tennessee, northern Mississippi, northeast Mississippi, northwest Alabama, Florence, Alabama, Muscle Shoals, those locations are going to be probably the spots to kind of watch tomorrow for those impacts for maybe those spin-up tornadoes as well. On top of the spots that we were talking about inside of the Action News 5 coverage area, I'd say Hardeman County, tip of Benton, McNairy, and Alcorn counties would be the spots to kind of watch for. So we'll run this through Friday, and again, you see the coverage of rain tapering off, and that's kind of the trend, that the showers just kind of taper off. And there's still some wind out there occasionally, but it's nothing too crazy. That's midnight Saturday. Get into Saturday morning. Again, we've got Cooper Young going on. We've got the Southern Heritage Classic. People have been setting up today for tailgating over at Tiger Lane, and it's not been great. It's not going to be great for the rest of the day.
No. Stuff's going to blow away if it's not nailed down.
So this is Saturday morning, 6 a.m. Now, again, this is just one model's depiction, because we were looking at another model that says that Saturday morning, and we're taking power hits here at the station now. Great.
It means it's getting breezy.
Well, that means, that means that the spotty power outages found us too. So I wouldn't be surprised. I couldn't tell if the generator hit or if it came on or not, but anyways, we'll see. When it comes down to the rain on Saturday, one model's depiction says it's completely dry, and then another one, like you're seeing here, we've got rain showers moving through here, and it is possible that we'll have a period of rain early on Saturday. It may not rain all day long, but it will come down quick, fast, and in a hurry, because remember, this is a tropical air mass, and tropical air masses are heavily weighted towards rain, and you may have a period of time where it's sunny outside too. That's the other thing. One of my friends is down in was going to a wedding in New Orleans. Of course, New Orleans was just hit by the storm. He took a picture, and the sun's coming out already.
Yeah, that's that dry air that you showed filtering in. I think the main takeaway, though, for the weekend is that we could see some brief heavy downpours at times. So if you do have any plans, I just would be aware of that, and don't cancel your plans, but have your umbrella, know that you might need to be indoors. Yeah,
because unfortunately, again, because of how the atmosphere is set up, what I've called the zombie low of Francine, because at that point, I really think that the National Hurricane Center is going to give up the white flag on calling this a tropical depression, tropical storm at some point in time, and it becomes more just a remnant low. And the remnant low of Francine is still going to be part of our story probably until early next week, because there's just not a lot of movement. One other thing that we're also going to have to watch for, and I showed this morning, there is a cluster of thunderstorms off of the Carolina coast, and you're probably thinking, why do I care about Wilmington, North Carolina? Well, I do, because I love Wilmington. I used to live there. It was gorgeous, beautiful.
And some people might love the area.
Yeah, it's like, look, for the folks who are joining us from Wilmington, North Carolina, just so you know, I miss you guys. Okay, I love it here, but I love it here in Memphis. I love it here in the Mid-South. But the reason why we're showing that is because that is actually one of those elements that keeps Francine's remnant low from moving away. And so that is going to be its own impact in and of itself. And I think that Francine may tap into some moisture, or the remnants of Francine at that point, tap into some of that Atlantic moisture.
And that'll cause more showers to come into place as well.
Yes, especially I think like late Sunday into Monday.
Yeah.
So that will be something else that we just kind of have to watch and play by ear. The forecast is adjustable, and I even said that yesterday. I just have a sneaking suspicion that this weekend forecast is highly variable, and it's all because of a very complex weather situation that surrounds Francine. Normally, these things are gone and out of here. This is not the case with Francine.
Yeah, no, it's not. And we don't have any mechanism to push it out either, even into next week. So that's why we're looking at this. That's why on the next 10 days, you can see rain chances sticking in the forecast, because there's just nothing to really push this system out of here until we get into the middle portion of really next week, when it tries to make its way out, or really tries to dry out anyway. Another thing today, I know people have been out and about, Patrick, but just temperature wise, we've been staying in the 60s all day due to all these clouds and rain. We saw 70s early this morning. That was our high. Rest of the day though, I want to say chilly, but again, staying in the 60s, rain, cloud sticking around as well. And then a lot of that really staying on tap for tomorrow as well.
Yeah, and I think that the official high may be like 74, 75.
At like midnight?
At midnight.
Yeah.
But of course, most of the day has been stuck in the rain. I think we were like 72 this morning when we came in.
Yeah.
Very early this morning.
About 2 a.m.
And then tomorrow, we just don't see much improvement in the temperature department. Again, it's not really the temperatures. Don't worry about that. It's more so the impacts from the rain and the wind that you got to be worried about. And like I said, we've had, we just had a power bump here at Action News 5 in Midtown. There have been a lot of folks who've gone in and out of power over the course of this morning, just on the MLGW system. I was looking at Energy, Coldwater, Mississippi has a power outage as well. Oh, thanks, Hannah. What's it say?
10,000.
10,000 homes and over 10,000 homes and businesses now without power, and that is a spike from even about 30 minutes ago. And so I think this last band of rain and this gusty wind starting to come in here is helping that be the process.
Yeah, which that makes sense though, because we just now kind of saw that heaviest band of rain and wind kind of push in here into Shelby County. They're that secondary round anyway, so that's causing additional power outages. And you can see it. This is our best care cam here in Midtown. Rain continuing to come down, just cloudy out there, downright not great conditions to be out in. People still out on the roadways. I wouldn't if I didn't have to be.
Yeah, and earlier we saw from Tallahatchie County, Mississippi, a tree falling on a car.
Yeah.
And so this, it's not. Listen, hold on. Where's my soapbox? Listen, I understand a lot of people have had this notion of like, why are you telling us it's raining outside? We know it's raining outside. We know. Trust us, we know.
We do know.
The thing is that there is a lot going on that is very impactful. It's not just the weather situation, it's also societal impacts that go along with it as well. We're thinking about Southern Heritage Classic, we're thinking about Cooper Young, and all these different elements that come into it. We have a lot of people in town who don't live here as well because of these events.
Yeah.
So we have to think about all these different elements when we issue first alert weather days. It's more than just the weather. It's a lot of societal things that go along with it as well when we actually issue them. And today, it's not. I said this earlier. This isn't the worst thing in the world. Listen, if you've been through some of these bad weather events, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Okay. If you've lived on the coast all your life, listen. I'm from Mobile, Alabama. It's like I've seen my fair share of hurricanes.
Yeah.
If I take my knowledge of that and say put that here, this doesn't compare. This is it is what it is, but at the same rate, this is impactful for the entire area. We haven't seen a lot of rain lately, for one, so we're already seeing some flooding issues. Two, saturated grounds, then with the gusty winds, trees start toppling over.
Yeah.
Weakly rooted trees, at least, not your big hardy ones, but at least weakly rooted trees start falling over.
No, we have to put the impacts together,
Yeah.
though, to be able to know what's going to be going on and what's going to impact you. Again, some days are greater impacts than others, but where this First Alert Weather Day is called First Alert Weather Day due to the impacts that are going to be ongoing with the winds and the rain, just like Patrick was mentioning. It impacts more than just one drive home. It's your morning drive, it's your commute home, it's the wrecks that are ongoing right now, the schools that are out due to ponding on roadways and flooding concerns. So it's a facet of things together that make this day pretty impactful.
Yeah, and obviously school districts also take into account. This is why I don't envy a superintendent right now, because they are dealing with a lot. They're trying to get buses on the road and things like that, and that is impactful as well, because when we start talking about these things, you have to take all of those things into account. Look, we are all adults. Most people who are watching this, we're all adults here, and probably it's like I can drive down the road just fine. But then you think about somebody who's got 2 or 3 kids who are going to school here today. Yeah, it's raining outside, but then they got to get on the bus to go home.
And there's ponding
on the roads.
Yeah.
There's trees falling and power and things like that. So there's a lot of different things that go along with it as well. So. And
I guarantee you, if you get on the road about 4 to 5 o'clock headed back home, it's going to be a messy situation as well, just because of still seeing wet roadways and probably rain ongoing all the way through 4 or 5 o'clock in some places.
So we'll go back into Shelby County and kind of give you an idea really about the metro area. And again, that band of rain that's moving through, it's heavy. And this is probably the last super heavy band that we're going to see with Francine, because again, it goes back to that drier air filtering on the backside. We're already starting to see some holes being poked and prodded into the rain shield down to the south. In North Mississippi, you see things have kind of calmed down in Lewisburg and Hernando and approaching Pleasant Hill and Nesbitt. A little bit of light rain starting to come down in Ripley and Mississippi. I got to make sure I emphasize that it's Ripley, Mississippi, down towards Blue Mountain, and then up towards Ashland and getting close to the Snow Lake shores as well. So, we've seen some holes being poked in there. Also, down in Tunica and Coahoma County, seeing a little bit of drying air out there as well, as the storm is kind of working through at this point.
But I think we're still seeing that heaviest portion here in Shelby County. That's going to continue to lift off to the north. That's what these showers have done with that center. Not here yet, but again, making its way closer, still causing these bands to lift off northward. So that area just going to continue to push off to the northward into places like western Tennessee, Cross County, Mississippi County, into portions of Covington, Dyer County, Haywood County as well. This is going to continue to make its way into that area over the next 30 minutes to an hour. So it's going to continue to push upwards, and then we'll start to see drier air filter in here in Shelby County as well into the afternoon, really later afternoon into the evening hours. So still tracking out one heavier band, but again, like Patrick said, after that pushes through, we'll start to see more light to moderate rainfall, but also breezy conditions, again, hitting on that impact will stick around into the afternoon and evening. And right now seeing breezy conditions as well, seeing gusts anywhere between really 30, 40 miles an hour like we've seen the past hour or so. These really picked up, I would say, in the last few hours and still have made their way through, because you can kind of see where those winds are kind of making that circular motion to our south. That is the center of the system that's going to be, again, pushing into the Mid-South over really the afternoon and evening ahead.
And take you outside now. This is a live look at our Midtown High Five camera. Best Care Home Services High Five camera. Again, looking off towards the west. You're trying to see downtown. You can't see it at this point. You probably see to about Methodist, and that's it.
Yeah, visibility, another thing with this, with the rains coming down and then the wind coming into play as well, making for some driving issues.
Down in your neck of the woods, Senatobia, Mississippi, Northwest Mississippi Community College.
Rain coming down again.
Rain's coming down again after it tapered off. At one point, you could kind of tell that the clouds were trying to clear out.
They were trying real hard, real hard.
There might have been like a peak of sun. There might have been one peak, and now the winds are picking up again. Yeah, those are little saplings. Don't get me wrong. Listen, those are saplings. Those are little things.
Yeah.
But we're starting to see the winds kind of blowing through, and even some of the larger trees we've seen even here at Action News 5 here through the course of this morning. We've seen them kind of blowing around as well.
I was taking a look outside, but yeah, it's been breezy out there on the campus of Northwest and across the Mid-South, so definitely something to take into account if you're going to be out and you can be driving and kind of feel it pull on your car. Just stay safe out there, take it slow, don't be trying to get one place to another in a quick amount of time at this point here. So anyway, breezy conditions, lots of rain. You can see our downtown cam behind me is, we barely see out of that as well. So heavy rain ongoing here in Memphis. That's just that heavy band that's ongoing right now. But it's going to continue to lift up to the north, Patrick, and then
Tipton
we'll
County,
see some light rain.
Crittenden County.
It's coming.
Lauderdale County, Mississippi County is coming your direction. I keep coming back to this graphic as well. And I try to put this together in a sense of like trying to explain it to everybody in short order, that everybody is going to see the torrential rain. Okay, so everybody's going to see rain, 2 to 4 inches, and we've already seen a lot of that here this morning.
Yeah.
Locally, though, there could be some spots that go above 4 inches, and we've kind of highlighted those areas that we think that over 4 inches would be possible. And I think that may come over the course of not just today, but through the next couple of days, because keep in mind, the rain's going to stick around.
Yeah.
Many of you have seen the gusty winds. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not horrible in a lot of locations. It may be flat calm at your house right now, but you get a quick gust of wind, all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, Yep, there it is.
And we don't get that here in the we don't get breezy conditions every day. So noticeably different as you're headed outside and you get one of those 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
Wind-driven rain in your face too. And then for some of you, again, not everybody, I still think those eastern areas that we've highlighted, McNairy County, Hardeman County, Tippah, Benton, and Alcorn counties, at least in the Action News 5 coverage area, could see a brief spin-up tornado. It's not out of the realm of possibility. And so that's why we have to just kind of be vigilant, stay weather aware. It's not just, from our standpoint, because we got to tell everybody about what's going on, but for you guys as well. And one way to do that, the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app, we hawk the app all the time. I'm not going to say what happened with another station's app, but it was not correct. But ours has a lot of information just inside the daily forecast that you could have been like, oh, that's what we're expecting today.
Yeah, I think people don't realize that we individually put the data in there. Like Patrick updates that app multiple times a day when he's here, even in just the early morning hours. So when you're looking on there, you're not seeing automated text necessarily. You're seeing things that we have forecasted and put in there individually for your specific area.
It was raining and it said mainly sunny. Anyways, ours says alert day, Francine impacts, and tells you all the impacts that were specific to your location.
And you can have your alerts on, and that's something that's really going to be important, especially within those areas and in those times where we could see those quick spin-up tornadoes, because they are going to be very fast paced. Like it's going to try to tighten up, try to produce a tornado, and as soon as it does, it could fall apart as well. But you still want to be aware, and again, they're going to be quick alerts, and you're going to want to know on your phone, because we know not everybody's going to be in front of a TV over the next 24 hours.
Well, I think the other thing too, and just a reminder for folks out there, we were working through our signal issues.
Yeah.
Okay. We've been upgrading the technology here at Action News 5 to give you a better, clearer signal. We know that there are people just even inside of Shelby County over the air cannot pick us up. We understand that. There are multiple other ways. We're so close. It's almost there. There are multiple other ways to get that information. One way, we're on the digital desk right now. A lot of people are joining us on social media. We have a live stream on actionnews5.com. Keep in mind that when we are in a newscast, if we are in the middle of a tornado warning, those avenues will also be there. Now, I can't say Facebook every single time. I cannot, and this as much as a lot of us are on Facebook right now, I can't say Facebook every single time, because not every single time will you get that information, because Facebook just
sometimes
Facebook algorithm, anyways.
But the app.
The news and weather apps, because the live stream, as soon as we go on the air, the live stream kicks on. Same thing if you have a Roku device, Apple TV, Fire device, some connected TVs. If you have like an internet connected TV, we have apps on that as well. Download those and you can still watch Action News 5. Like I said, if you watch us over the air typically, even if you don't watch us over the air, and maybe soon you will be able to watch us over the air with the new signal that's coming in. So
it's coming.
It's coming.
It's on the way.
I hear a week, maybe two. I hear a week or maybe
Cross
two.
Your fingers. We'll
I might get a call up to the office later about that. So why'd you say that? Why'd you say that out loud? Just go through some of the comments real quick. Seeing folks say high winds in South Haven, slow down within the last half hour. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Based off of what we were seeing not terribly long ago.
That's with that heavy band that pushed through in South Haven. Now it's up into Shelby County. So seeing the winds kind of up and down with that as it moves through.
Yeah, and the rain's coming down pretty good. Again, I keep going back to this fact. Yeah, it's raining. I know. We know. It's the wind aspect, and it's for prolonged periods of time. You got to understand, it's not just, like a squall line. Squall line comes through, and it's like you get the squall line, it's like 30 minutes, it's done. These winds will be a little bit more persistent, along with the rains. And we've already seen those power outages. They've been mounting, coming and going. The MLGW crews, the energy crews, and the local co-op crews, they're out there. They're working in this mess. So kudos to them to keep you online as much as you possibly can. It's hard, though. It's hard work for those guys. And, I always say thank a lineman whenever you see them, because they are the true heroes to keep the AC running, because man, I tell you, it'll get hot.
You want the AC running.
You want the AC running.
That's right.
just wanted to check before
Yeah.
we hop off here because we got to do another cut in on the television side, And Ron Childers is coming in soon. So,
He is, and
me and you want.
I was looking at the time, like he is coming in.
I hate to see my pillow. My pillow would hate to see me at this point. Let's say it like that.
I would
because
love to see my pillow.
I can't wait for my pillow. My nap is going to be so good today.
But we are doing cut-ins at the top of the hour, and also our next
Newscast.
newscast is going to be at 3:30.
Right here.
Right here at the digital desk at 3:30. Ron Childers will be here, I believe, and then we'll have 4, 5, 6, and 10. So if anything happens, you can get the latest updates with Chief Meteorologist Ron Childers.
He will let you know about it.
Yeah, Meteorologist Eric Brill will be in here with him as well, just kind of helping on things out. We've been taking it in too, so that's what's going to be going on this afternoon.
Yeah. I'll go back to this. Again, everybody's going to see the rain.
Yeah.
That is what it is. It is the persistence of the rain-wind combination, the possibility of a spin-up tornado. It's all there. It's not the worst thing in the world. Again, I will say,
worse scenarios.
admittedly, we've had worse weather come through the Mid-South this year.
Yeah.
It's just the overreaching impacts of everything going on over the course of the last couple of days. It's been dry. We had a beautiful weekend of weather, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're smacked with this.
Yeah.
And it is a transition. And again, this is more so to kind of give you that heads up of that big change that obviously came from a high near 80 degrees with full sunshine just about 3 days ago to
a tropical system.
To a
looking
tropical
north
system.
Into the Mid-South.
Yes, that has
two totally different scenarios.
that doesn't want to leave the Mid-South.
Literally.
We love the Mid-South as well, but I think that Francine can go ahead and kick the bucket and get on out
I
of
would
here.
love to say goodbye to it.
Yes, especially
But
with
we won't be seeing it.
especially with this weekend coming up.
Yeah.
Again, Cooper Young Festival, Southern Heritage Classic. A lot of people are in town for this, and we want folks to come and enjoy Memphis and not have to run away from the rain outside. Be inside or try to be inside. And enjoy what the city and the area has to offer. Coming in from University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, or
Right.
folks coming in from Nashville and all around. The Classic's a big deal regionally. It's not just the two schools that are involved. It is a regional thing. So a lot of folks coming involved with that. And of course, Saturday, for everybody's purposes, we're going to be down at Cooper Young. I'll be down there, I think 9 to 11 on Saturday. Hopefully it's not raining.
I'll be in here.
I was about to say, could you make sure that that's not the case? But
could be handling with a few downpours on Saturday.
And I know that from the standpoint of the Classic, they're going to play the game.
Yeah.
The game's going to get played. Okay, so that's one thing. The game's going to get played. The only thing that would delay it, obviously, lightning.
Yeah.
And typically, tropical systems don't have a lot of lightning.
Yeah. We haven't seen
I don't think we've seen
any this morning, or not necessarily any, but
I don't think we've seen lightning since it was over the Gulf.
right.
So it's been almost 24 hours without lightning. Cooper Young, they're going to make a decision Saturday morning, 6 a.m. Saturday morning, on whether or not they're going to go on with the festival or push it back a day. And if they do, the rain day will be on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we're going to obviously be the first to alert you to that information and be the first to alert you to anything else crazy in the weather department. So
That's right.
for now, you want to go take it?
You want to go take a what?
Well, I don't know. Take it back to the weather center and wait till Childers gets here.
Yeah, this has been fun, Patrick.
Oh,
But it
yes.
is the first alert weather day. Keep it here with the latest. You can download the app. We'll have our next newscast at 3:30. Overall, we're just continuing to track out gusty wind and rain coming through the area. But again, we'll keep you updated, obviously, at the top of the hours as well. And it's been a good update with you. You have anything to say, Patrick?
I got nothing else to say. Maggie,
right. That's okay.
you are
That's all I have.
fantastic at what you do, and so I just leave it to you.
Right.